Hello and welcome back to Desperate for a Name. I'm Mickey.
I'm Nati.
And today we're continuing.
Don't scream.
We're continuing with part 2 on Greystoke.
We're gonna have to give like a trigger warning.
What trigger warning?
No, I mean like an auditory trigger warning.
Oh, okay, yeah.
For anyone who's like having difficulty with hearing, Mickey might shatter your drums.
If you have audio issues or
lower it.
No. If you have any auditory problems or seem to have a hard time listening, turn up the volume to the max, and I promise nothing bad will happen.
When you're on the floor,
nothing bad's gonna happen.
When you're on the floor and your ears are bleeding, don't blame us.
Don't blame. It was you who did it. No, you couldn't handle
Maybe don't listen to this wearing headphones.
The whole listen to it. This is full on like Tarzan ASMR Greystoke.
I don't think you know what ASMR is.
I probably don't.
It's this.
Okay, well, we're not doing that.
Chill beats with ASMR.
We're not doing that. So last time where we left off with Greystoke, Tarzan and They Are Not, the best boy, They Are Not, basically...
The best Belgian boy?
The best Belgian. No, he's French. And
he says he's Belgian in the movie for some reason.
But he's so cool, he somehow became French midway between part 1 and 2.
Are you implying the French are cool? Because that's just wrong.
No, but They Are Not makes the French cool. Why do you think the French...
By existing.
By existing, he makes the French awesome. That's what he does. Yeah, the French... You know why the French aren't as cool as they used to be? Because They Are Not's not around anymore. The world forgot about They Are Not, and this with us, France became much less cool. He was 80% of their popularity.
I would argue they were never cool, and just They Are Not was cool, but okay.
Look, it's basically just They Are Not and the Pink Panther.
As the coolest French guys you can think of?
As the coolest French guys I could think of. I don't have very high standards for France.
No one does.
Not even France. Anyway.
No one. Mickey, not even France.
Apologies.
Gives a shit about France.
Yes, apologies to all our French listeners.
No, you should feel bad about where you come from. End of discussion. Moving on.
But to be fair, yeah, like we can, look, honestly, everyone else can make fun of America. We're allowed to make fun of France.
Yeah. And you guys have nothing to be proud of, just like we have nothing to be proud of.
Yeah. So last time Tarzan and They Are Not, the boy himself, were on their way to society.
And my boy They Are Not.
They're on their way to they're
on a voyage, you see.
They're on a quest.
Which is skipped because we immediately cut to them showing up in like Scotland or whatever.
So during that whole passage of time and during that, so They Are Not had taught Tarzan how to speak, well, English. And
mostly French.
No, French and English. Yeah. He knows how to speak both. He taught him originally French at first, and then he learned English.
They justify how he's able to learn so well. They say he's like a natural mimic because he makes
a natural gift for mimicry.
Yes, he's a natural mimic.
A natural gift for mimicry.
He has a natural gift for mimicry.
Yes, a natural gift for mimicry.
Is that your gift for mimicry?
No.
That's how he
He also
does really good bird calls, and he can do very good bird calls and also sound like any animal he wants, which is also why he's really good at picking up languages.
Yeah, he's basically also just like he's a good mimic, but that's why you.
I like how they had to add that detail. Let's make Tarzan a little more realistic.
No, Tarzan was always a good mimic, even in the book. That's actually pretty accurate. That's one of the things they attribute to him because he always used to be able to imitate animal calls. But that's the thing. It's actually a thing you'll notice even early on in the movie Tarzan doing. Yeah. Like, you see him as a kid, imitating birds and...
Caw!
Yeah.
Caw!
Yes, he clearly goes at one point in the movie, he just goes, cock-a-doodle-doo! Luckily, he sounds so,
Roar!
Yes, this is exactly how he sounds in the movie. Basically, it's, Tarzan is one of those, FX boxes that, and...
No, you know who he is. Just, I forgot his name. He's that guy from Police Academy.
Oh, Michael Winslow?
He's Michael Winslow from Police Academy.
Yeah, he's just Michael Winslow.
But for animals.
He's he's got the, all the different animals on cassette. And then, yes.
Don't you mean on gramophone?
Yes, on gramophone. So they make it to Greystoke, and so the only surviving member obviously is, well, not obviously, but is somehow his grandfather, the guy who hasn't shown up. I don't know even, did we mention him last time?
Yeah, no, he only shows up in the very beginning when he sees Tarzan's parents for the last time.
Yeah, when he sees off his son, and then he's like...
His son.
And then, when the Earl of Greystoke left the hallowed halls one last time.
Yeah, that, whatever.
This time on Downton Abbey.
It's just this. This is the rest of the movie. Just Downton Abbey bullshit.
But with Monkey Man. and Nature Boy. I don't know, a bunch of other crap.
Whatever they call him.
Anyway, so
it's all a bunch of like posh, demeaning assholes. Anyway,
so many posh assholes in this movie. Like, there's you can honestly have like a drinking game. It's like, what posh asshole's gonna show up and say this thing next?
Oh, like that posh asshole from the expedition before.
Although not Grandpa. The Grandpa's pretty cool.
Grandpa is fucking delusional and is clearly losing his sanity, but he's nice.
By this point, I mean, the fact that, hey, what are you talking about? Just because he used like his tea to do his makeup, it's like, come on.
No,
that's called a proper facial cleansing.
Okay, we'll get to him later.
But Grandpa, in a sense, is he clearly from the beginning of because he's pretty old at this point. At this point, Tarzan's been.
I'm surprised he's alive.
Yeah, so
was the time.
I remember when I first saw this movie, I was like, damn, this dude
is like in his 90s.
Like this guy survived. Like you're talking about, like we're in like maybe early 20th century at this point. Because the movie starts like late 1880s, and so then this has to be like the 1910s.
Yeah, I would say like 1910.
And cars are a thing, or like the automobile.
Like cars are a thing, but like only the really, really rich can have them.
Yeah, also because they're not
they're new.
They're also not in high demand.
I mean, I think they are. No, I guess you're right. But like,
yeah, because only like
they're not in high demand, but they're also like very new and very expensive.
Of course, they're really expensive.
Yeah, so like only the wealthy have them, as in everyone in this movie.
No, and also like no one likes cars yet because they don't see the point to it.
Oh, just you wait.
Yeah, just you wait. You guys just wait. Wait until NASCAR comes. That's gonna like set you back a couple of years, but wait till it comes.
Anyway.
They
get to the manor. You meet Tarzan's grandpa.
We can see who his faithful ward and companion, Jane Porter, the American.
I am genuinely surprised they made her American in this.
What do you mean?
I mean, what I meant to say was I am genuinely surprised that I actually care if she's American or not.
Okay, why?
I don't.
Okay.
Although I am a little confused as to what their relationship is. I know he calls her his ward, but like, why is she living with him?
The way it works is that I think it was more like that. So it's not that weird. It's kind of like, I feel like it's like when kids go to like her dad was friends with John Clayton and like the Greystoke.
It's like Dick Grayson. It's like Earl of Greystoke and his faithful ward, Jane.
That's kind of what I was going for before.
I know, but like,
you just got it?
No, I'm just making the joke now. It's like, Greystoke.
And Jane.
Anyway.
You
know, they would be, come on, it's a giant old stately mansion.
No, I know. It's just that joke with, in Foster's home. It's like you got Madam Foster. It's like Madam Foster. And then
it's anyone who gets that.
Yeah. Oh my God. Super. Oh, maybe we'll talk about that one day. We'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that later.
We'll get to it. Anyway. So fun fact. Actually, I meant to mention this. So Jane is an American in this, although she has a British accent. Because here's the fun fact.
It's not fun.
Why is it not fun?
I don't know. What
do you think the fact is? Guess.
I have no idea.
So the actress in that movie isn't the one talking. They actually had dubbed over her in post-production, which even she didn't know. It was pretty shitty.
That's kind of insulting.
So the reason they did it was because at the time they wanted someone. So apparently she's like has a really heavy Southern accent, American, and at the time that's what they wanted. That's what they thought it was going to be. It was work. But apparently during like filming or during like post-production, they're like, okay, they're like also now they don't like it. So they got someone else to dub. I forgot the name of the woman, but here's the funny thing: the woman who dubbed over Jane in this movie would later go on to play Kala in the Disney movie.
That's fucking weird.
It's so freaking. I forgot the name. I don't know why I'm so bad at these like.
That's kind of shitty. It wasn't Jane played by Andy McDowell in this movie?
Yeah, I think so.
That's kind of shitty to do to Andy McDowell.
And this was her first movie role.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was a bitch because it sucks for her, and I'm like, yeah, and it's something that I think she's spoken about a lot, and she's talked about it. I think she's okay with it now, but she was just really like, yeah, she was kind of bummed out.
It's a shitty thing to do.
Yeah, at the time, this was like her first big movie role, and I'm like,
they did it behind her back, right?
I think no, they just did it like in post. They did it during post production, so I don't think she heard about it until like last minute.
Yeah, so like, but they wouldn't just tell her, oh, by the way, Andy, we're gonna like dub over your entire.
Well, yeah, originally that wasn't the plan.
Yeah, but then they changed it.
They changed it. Yeah. So
someone made like some pussy made a last minute decision. Like it doesn't sound too southern. Move on.
Yeah. But anyway, so that happened. So I just I wanted to talk about that, or at least wanted to mention it.
Well, that's sad.
Anyway,
I hope at least the other woman got credit, or at least paid.
I'd always wondered about that because I remember when I first watched the movie, I wasn't 100% sure because I was like,
she's not in the credits, is she?
No, because it also like you can kind of tell that like Jane's voice is the one that kind of sounds dubbed over. It's not terrible. The sound mixing is great in this movie, but it's like, but I thought like, wait a minute. So We also meet Jane's current boyfriend, or I don't know, her man companion.
I don't know.
Who basically is obviously supposed to be this movie's stand-in version of
Clayton?
Of Clayton, or at least of, like, you know,
William Clayton.
William Clayton. Yeah. So basically like Tarzan's cousin.
And you know he's a dick because he shows up in his new car and he's showing it off like an asshole.
He's got the posh scarf, the goggles. He got the whole.
He looks like a Hanna-Barbera villain.
It's so funny, but he's so great. And he's so British. But he's
so posh.
But he's such a dick to
everyone.
Well, Tarzan specifically.
Oh yeah. Well, everyone looks down on him because
of course.
A, white and British.
He was a savage man. Yes. Actually, it's funny when they have one of the people from like the royal, like the Ministry of Science or whatever, talking.
The Royal Ministry of Science.
Yes, talking to the Earl of Greystoke, and they're talking about it because, like, you know, his grandpa's just happy to have his
grandson
back,
even though he constantly mistakes him for his son, which is really sad.
It's sad, but it's also like the guy is partially senile. His son is dead. He hasn't, like, he loves both him and the girl.
So either no one corrects him because why? What's the point? Like, why are we gonna ruin it for him? Or no one really knows that Tarzan is their grandson, and they
all know. They all know. So everyone. The most of people knew John and Alice Clayton. They know they're dead.
So no one's like, maybe we should tell him that his son is actually dead and this is his estranged grandson. Yeah. Nah, he seems happy.
So that happens. And one of the big things in this, and I think we touched a bit about on this last time, is that Tarzan is still doesn't fully accept that he's human in a sense, or that he's a man, or that he still thinks...
I mean, I think more societally.
No, but like, remember, he was when Darren was trying to convince him to come with him to the outside world, a lot of it was like that he's like, it's like
mother, father, family, mother, father, family.
He's like, it's like, you're a person, your mother was not an ape. And I'm like, my mom was an ape, that's Kala, that's my mommy, and she's dead now, so shut up, Darren.
Yeah, so
I'm so sorry, Darren, you're so cool though.
Yeah, it's really like societally, it's like, no, mother, father, just screams at him, drills it. Yeah, it really traumatizes him, just drills it into his head.
It is interesting to see how Tarzan like learns this stuff and how he perceives it.
Darren, have you heard of the concept of adoption?
But he also, and then of course, Darren, by the way, he doesn't stick around for a bit. He goes, he parts ways with Tarzan.
He leaves and goes.
And it's so freaking sad.
Well, yeah, because they're basically...
Because Tarzan runs after him, and he runs
after him in the car.
And he gets like his ring, or what was it, like a watch or something?
Yeah, he like pulls his ring off.
Or, like, he holds his hand, it's like, because like they're like best bros.
I see.
They're best bros.
I see it as more of a surrogate father. I think he's more of a surrogate dad, because he basically raised him in terms of being a human.
He taught him everything was to be human, but I think
gave him a razor and a mirror, because those are the two first words he taught him.
But I feel like that can make him I feel like I can make them friends.
I see it as a surrogate dad.
I see it as friendship. I see it as bros.
Let us know in the comments. Do you see the?
Well,
no, watch the movie. Tell us. Is it more like a father-son thing or a friendship?
The only reason I don't.
You can have paternal friends.
No, the only reason
paternal.
But the only reason I see it more as like a friend thing is because he already has a father figure. I mean, great, he has an ape father, but I think to him, Tarzan only has like one father, one mother, and then all the humans he knows.
But like Kerchak was an abusive piece of shit.
In this one too, yes. No, well, they
Kerchak is an abusive piece of shit.
In this one, I don't think so. Not as much. A little bit. I don't know. I don't really count like with the ape stuff as like you can't really compare it to human standards because
he literally just has like violent outbursts for no reason.
That is true. But also so does Two-Blot, but he's an ass. He's just an ass.
So like every like male authority figure in his life as an ape is just been a
that's what it is to be an ape. You have to be authoritative. That's like the rule, and that somehow also makes you like you can't hold them by human standards. It's not like you fancy someone, you go up, you ask them. Like that's the whole thing. That's the whole dichotomy of this entire movie is the fact that like you have like ape society and then you have like like super posh British society. I feel like you're just like Tarzan anywhere else. I've been like, okay, I can actually make both of this. I can make both kind of work. Then take him anywhere else in Africa and he'd have been fine.
Take him anywhere else in the world besides Europe, he would have been fine.
No, not anywhere fine. I mean, no.
Europe specifically is the problem.
The reason I say Africa specifically is because like you just take him there because then he's still like right next to the jungle. Just take him to one of the other villages. He's next to the jungle. He's still in a society. You're good. You're good. It's like a summer home. You just pop back in and out. That's one thing I always
because like I mean really the only I really think the problem is Europe specifically because they have like an entire like just conception of we're better and we are civilized and everyone else isn't, and it's white supremacy, but like it's we're better and everyone else isn't, and like here's how we're better and like and blah 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 blah, and so it's really just
That's one thing I never actually really liked about a lot of the Tarzan stuff is we're like, and we'll touch about this more later in the end because it's a big thing that gets wrapped up at the end of the movie. But I don't like the whole idea where it's like you have to choose one or the other. It's like you have to be a man or you have to be an ape, and I'm like, why can't you just do both?
Here's the deal.
There's a way to do both.
Here's the deal.
The books do that.
If someone
I love it.
I know. Hold on. Here's the deal. If someone is giving you an unnecessary ultimatum, choose the side that doesn't give you the ultimatum.
If both sides are giving them the ultimatum, then it's like, then punch both sides in the face.
Okay, it's not like the tribe of apes. It's not like his family of apes is like, you gotta come with us, Tarzan. You can't go with them. He just leaves.
That's true. Well, he just abandons his people.
Family.
But
yeah. So like, one, I really think this whole bullshit.
Granted, to be fair, most of his friends are dead at that point from the ape family.
Let's see. One got mauled by a panther.
His friend got mauled by a panther. His mom's dead. His father got banished from the tribe.
We see him again anyway.
He does come back later. So anyway,
So Tarzan is spending some time with Jane.
So they spend some time together. Jane decides...
He has dinner with all these posh people.
Yes, but Jane has decided to start teaching him English and just teaching him more about like society and the human world. And yeah, so you're talking about the dinner scene?
No, the dinner scene, because Tarzan has dinner with a bunch... Which is before Darnot leaves. He's with Jane.
It's his welcome home dinner.
Yeah, and a bunch of people he's never met and a bunch of posh British assholes. And basically, he does some like mimic calls to entertain people, and he's a little more well-behaved. He starts drinking his soup out of the bowl instead of with a spoon. And his grandfather, in the dopest move, he's like, spoons are stupid, and just like in support of Tarzan, just drinks out of the bowl because he's cool.
No, every time. He always supports and encourages the way Tarzan does things.
And then everyone else starts doing it too, but only very clearly because the Earl is doing it and not because they don't care.
Yeah, he's
like, they look down on Tarzan regardless, and they look down on him before, and then the Earl was like, well, I mean, if the old rich guy's doing it, we have to do it.
Yeah. It's like, oh my God, we have to like, he's so amazing, he's so impressive, the Earl of Greystoke.
Like, shut the fuck up, you sycophants.
And then Tarzan also like...
Don't ruin this moment.
He can also imitate people and voices, and he does accents.
He imitates one of the posh Brits.
Yeah, I think it's William he imitates.
Good.
Yeah, as time goes on, also Jane and Tarzan become closer, and then William proposes marriage to Jane, but she rejects him.
She says no. I am impressed that she says no. Mostly, I'm impressed that a woman has that kind of agency in society. But I say no.
Oh, come on, remember what his proposal was? It's not even like will you marry me? It's like, will you give me permission to like ask for your hand in marriage to your uncle? Because I guess at the time that was still when it was weird. That was done. Yeah.
Hold up. Yeah. No. He's like, may I have your permission to go?
Which is nice.
No. Like,
at least he asked her first.
What's all these hurdles? Like, can I ask your permission to ask this guy to ask the Earl for permission to ask for your hand in marriage? And I'm like, why not just ask me?
Well, at the time, that's how that things kind of worked. And also because...
At the time, you would have just gone to the Earl. I mean...
Well, no, the other main big reason...
Are you defending William?
No, I'm not defending it. I'm also explaining why it worked the way it was.
Billy Clayton?
No, the main... Yes, Billy Clayton. Actually, sounds like a country singer.
Yeah, right. Good old Billy Clayton.
Good old Billy Clayton.
Yeah.
And then the reason a lot of times this happened was because
so many pissed people.
A lot of the people during that time were also like the descendants and the inheritors of certain estates. So it's like if you were married to someone, that's how you get the estate.
Yeah.
And so it's like you have to ask permission because it's not just you, unless you're deciding to unless you're gonna leave the family or leave the inheritance and do all that. You have to it's a whole freaking mental gymnastics you have to freaking go through. It's a pain in the ass, but that's how it's how you did things.
Basically, yeah. So
it's like you want to marry me? Okay, I come with 30,000 square feet of land.
Speaking of land, Tarzan basically just spends his days learning with Jane and hanging out with his grandpa.
With grandfather.
Are they racing horses or chariots or whatever?
I also, I guess Tarzan learned how to ride a horse, by the way, in the African jungle.
They're racing carriages.
Yeah.
On the land. And at one point, I'm just going to call him Greystoke, his grandpa. He takes him aside and he's like, never sell this land, John. Never sell. It's the land that makes us what we are. And I'm
it's the lifeblood of
it's the lifeblood of this family. Never sell the land.
I think, I don't think he means...
Very impassioned speech.
It wasn't well, yeah, because I think...
It was a sweet moment between them.
Yeah, he was basically trying to tell Tarzan that he doesn't want to, the land to go away because this is their family. This is, their legacy, and he doesn't want to... After, what happened and everything, he's like, this is the only thing that he wants to remain of them.
I know it's the lifeblood of I get it as a family thing. It's this is our family. This is this is it.
And we take care of everybody here. And I assume that the Earl does take care of everybody here
seems
because
cool.
he's not an asshole.
Yeah, he's not. he seems cool and he treats people with respect. So even, I would very much like to think that he treats people well. But to be fair,
he even has like that mentally challenged like stable board, the porter or whatever, the guy who always hangs out with them.
The guy who hangs out with Tarzan.
Yeah, and he and Tarzan become really good friends.
Yeah, they become really good friends.
Hell, at one point even when
William starts like
when Jane dumps William, and he gets all that's he starts like
fucking with what's his name?
I forget his name, but like the kid ends up going because he checks
we'll
out
call him the kid.
He checks out William's car, and
William starts spanking him or whipping him.
Yeah, he's about to like whip him with a belt. I'm like, okay, and then Tarzan just drops a freaking rock on the car.
He dents the car, drops a rock, like, get the fuck away from my friend. That's my guy right there. Get the fuck away from him.
Yeah, and he's just like he's my boy. He's my boy. You don't mess with him.
We're friends. Don't you dare.
Yeah,
I will fuck you up. And basically Clayton just runs away with his tail, like drives away with his tail.
He drives away with his fangled new car machine. Yeah, no, this automobile. With
his tail between his legs. He's like, you'll pay for this, Jungle Boy.
I'm surprised that like Tarzan never tried to drive a car, because I'm like,
that's a bad idea.
Because he's never seen one before.
I don't know what he.
And machines are really new to him.
He doesn't even like try.
Yeah, no, how funny. I thought he was gonna do that at one point. Honestly, at one point, he's gonna try to like mess around with the car and then like crash into like a wall. Yeah, right?
That's not. That's depressing.
Why is that depressing?
Well, because
he'd be fine.
Well, no, he would die.
He's Tarzan.
That doesn't mean you're immune.
No. He would just jump out. He'd probably like freak out, jump out, and then crash it into a wall or something. Yeah. So then the car would be wrecked and he'd be fine. And
speaking of depressing.
What? Oh, okay.
We get to the Christmas party.
There's a Christmas party
where the Earl of Greystoke basically announces how happy he is to have his son John back in his life, and hopefully he will one day meet someone and provide him with an heir. And I'm like,
I think at that point he's talking about his grandson, but like, I think
he's talking about his son.
Okay.
Like he has very explicitly said, "My son John is back."
Yeah. Okay.
And everyone at the party's like, "Let's just let him have."
No, they're cool with it. And
unfortunately,
while they're celebrating and stuff like that, with a cleverly foreshadowed scene from prior.
Yeah, from prior when the Earl of Greystoke was talking about how when he was a kid for fun, he used to like get on a silver platter and slide down the stairs for fun. So he tries it now as an old man.
Like old man rich antics.
Old rich man antics, except he's also like 90 and
he does it and he gets like confused in a little scene, and so he crashes and hits his head on the banister
and dies almost.
The banister.
Whatever. He gets on a silver platter, which he
doesn't die on the spot, but he does he dies in Tarzan's arms.
Hold on, I am surprised he like made it onto the platter and like onto the stairs.
Dude wasn't like crippled.
I know, but like fine. I'm glad.
If the man could race horses, he could do that.
He was in a carriage.
Of course he was in a carriage, but that still takes some stamina.
He got down like a solid one case of the.
He just didn't know. He just forgot to turn.
He forgot to turn.
If he just turned, he would have been fine.
And then he just like. He doesn't like crash violently, but he falls off and he hits his head, like, and he's old, so it's very clearly like a fatal injury, and so he dies in Tarzan's arms.
He dies.
I forgot what his last words were, but something that would make you cry.
And then he basically, I think it was like something like it was never seller. I don't know what it was, but
no, it was something sweet.
But then Tarzan so he treats it.
Not comes back to console him.
No, but before that, so when the Earl dies, he treats it like he does the same thing he did when Kala dies.
Like he puts his hand on his head.
He tries it because he doesn't
understand what happened.
He doesn't fully grasp death, but he knows.
Why won't you pat me, Grandpapa?
But that's how he knows. Like, okay, like that's how he learned death was, where it's like something doesn't move, it doesn't respond, it won't take anything. And so he gets
the second major traumatic death in his life.
Yeah, he gets really sad about that.
I mean, third if you count the mauling.
Which I said traumatic death. Yeah, that one wasn't. He learned how to swim and he was pretty happy after that. Yeah, so I'm not counting that as traumatic.
That's real fucked up though.
But he was so he gets kind of sad, and then he gets really upset about it, and then he goes to Jane, and they
first of all, they or not comes back. Just
no, this happens before that.
Oh, you mean when they bang?
Yeah, they go
shows up in her bed and they bang
in her chambers.
Oh
my.
I'm pretty sure he like doesn't understand what to do.
He goes full animal, like.
But like, I think he just like starts licking parts of her body out of curiosity, and she's like,
all he knows are ape mating rituals.
I don't even know I don't think he's.
The dude had a crush on crushes on his ape, like other apes.
Look, this is gross, and let's move on.
Anyway, things happened.
Not shows up.
That still hasn't shown up yet. Hang on.
What happens after that?
There's the funeral, Nati.
What happens during the funeral that's so significant?
Not much. He just gets really sad.
Yeah.
And
he's really sad when Not comes back.
And now Not comes back
and like says, "Oh, I missed you both. I missed you, Jane."
Yeah, he's like, he likes them.
I know, but
he's not an asshole.
He's like, I've missed you, my dear.
I don't want you to insult TARZAN-ATHON. I don't think that
we'll get to that.
No, because we're not, because TARZAN-ATHON is an angel. He's a sweet angel.
He goes to see Tarzan, who's slumped and depressed in a chair.
Yeah, and then they kind of have it out a bit, because, well, yeah, no, TARZAN is, because like Tarzan's like, what? Why'd
you bring me?
Why did you bring me?
Like, you brought me here. I met a nice old man. The old man is dead.
No, you should have. You told me about family. You told me about belonging, and now that's all going away. So
I didn't even feel like I belonged. And the only people who I liked here are you, Jane, and the guy who's dead now.
Yeah. On the bright side, TARZAN, hey, high five though. I got laid last night.
That's not what they do. They don't.
No, but it's like, but I'm just saying though. But could you imagine though?
It's like the shittiest way to undercut that moment.
But it's like TARZAN. But just a quick thing though, like fist bump that. It's like okay. Fist bump. Anyway, I'm so sad. My grandfather's dead.
Hey, high five. Fist bump.
High five though.
Come on, give me some of that.
Yeah, but high five though.
Because I'm an asshole now.
Anyway, so
with Jane's in the room, it's like, what the fuck?
It's like, oh no, she's like, nah, he's right. It's like, damn, Jane. Then high fived her too.
This is getting weird.
Yeah. Look, like a lot of the jungle. We're all cool. We're all cool about it.
Anyway, now Tarzan has officially inherited. Sorry, John Greystoke III has officially inherited the Earl.
John Greystoke.
Isn't his name John Greystoke III?
No, his name is John Clayton. Greystoke is the land. He's the Earl of Greystoke.
Oh my fucking god, this is so stupid.
And then like he's John Clayton.
No, British aristocracy are the worst people in the world.
Okay. Anyway, moving on. So he basically.
So John Clayton III, the 6th Earl of Greystoke.
So what they do is
gains the land and the title, and so as such, he has certain responsibilities.
So he goes to the opening. Well, because since the after the passing of his son, the Earl the original Earl originally was sponsoring like the expeditions and the Institute of like Science and
funded
research.
By the official British Scientific Museum or whatever, the Royal Museum.
They have
of
a new
Science.
exhibit based on like Africa and stuff. The last expedition where like TARZAN was on, and where all the others showed up.
Surprisingly,
and also the same people that Tarzan's parents were part of, because
originally,
he helped do the research for them.
I mean, like they sent another expedition after his parents died.
So they go to the opening of this like new museum, and this is like
Tarzan cuts the ribbon and everything, whatever.
Yeah, he does a whole ceremonial thing, and this is like an early 1900s museum opening about animals. It's not exactly the greatest thing for him.
So Tarzan pretty much
sees so many corpses.
Yeah, Tarzan pretty much sees everything he grew up around his entire life paraded and like flaunted and just degraded to an extent, like,
and there's not even just an appealing font description. It's all ugly.
No, it's all just like, it's literally just like sprayed up there, and just everyone's like gawking at it just for the. I
mean, I don't think that's the problem. I think he has more problem with the fact that it's all like the way it's just like up there, and he's like, and so he has a bit of like it's
a bunch of dead bodies.
Yeah, not just dead bodies, but yeah. So then he kind of like freaks out a bit, and he goes out. And then
he steps into
and then he hears some noise and stuff, and so he goes into. Oh no, I'm totally covering this part.
All right,
but like he goes into the room.
Wait, quick thing.
Okay, sure.
It's so weird. I can't believe Britain would
do this.
Would like shamelessly fucking plant someone's entire life up on a wall for people to gawk at like a bunch of assholes.
Yeah, but this isn't like the first time. I mean, like, because even back at like the Greystoke estate, there's that one that pool room or like that
with
club
a bunch
room.
of dead animals.
Yeah, with like the taxidermy animals, and so like Tarzan kind of goes a bit nuts in that room the first night he's there.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't like.
He's not used to it.
I know, but like maybe the Brits, or everyone in general shouldn't like flaunt corpses around, or like flaunt someo's entire livelihood around them for people to just look at.
Well, yeah,
fun.
They don't consider it
because they're assholes.
So anyway, what happens is, what ends up happening is that Tarzan hears the noise coming from like from like the building across.
There's a certain familiar sound.
A familiar sound, and he goes inside, and it's like the research wing, or where they do a lot of like the biological.
The dissections.
It's the dissections. So like you see like it's actually a really well done.
And by well done, I mean horrifying.
Horrifying, but like the way they did it, I mean like they have one. So they have like there's like he finds like. An ape who's that's like
cut open
and propped. Well, to be fair, that's how they do dissection even on people.
I know, but like for him to see that, it's like, what the fuck?
Oh, but I think one of them was a living ape. Actually, that's the messed up part.
One that was cut up.
Yeah, I think one of them was.
Well, they
alive.
don't have souls.
No, that was messed up. But like, cause like they do dissections on like people too, because you kind of
dead people, like autopsies.
Normally you do it on dead people. That's the
but
rule.
Like apes, who cares?
But what happened?
PETA would not approve.
Anyway, but he ended up hearing a noise, and so he finds a bunch of the animals in cages and probably future experiments or whatever. And he runs into his daddy,
Kerchak. Somehow,
or Silverback, whatever they call him in this movie.
Kerchak is somehow, by some coincidence, in one of these cages in this
which
like,
doesn't surprise
British
me.
Museum of Science.
Why is that surprising?
I don't know. I just like
they probably just found him. And
I know, but like narratively, it's like, oh my god.
And Tar's like, oh my god, what are you doing here? It's like, oh my god, yeah, I know, it's so cool seeing you here too. Hey, dad, I got laid. High five.
Oh my god. What's with you in that?
I don't know how funny.
I would be like, hey, dad, remember when I peed on you? Wasn't that hilarious?
I know. I did the same thing.
On Jane?
I don't know.
Pee on Jane.
I've done that here too now. I peed on Day or not.
No, I peed on Jane.
Oh yeah, that's gross. No, but
she liked it.
But come on, could you not imagine? No, but just the reaction that they have.
What's with you?
No, but just the reaction the two of them have is like, it's just so funny. It's just like, it's like, oh my god, you're here. I know, and you're here too. It's like, oh, this is so great.
I just want they're just happy to see each other.
Yeah, but they're just jumping around though. It's just funny.
I mean, yeah, like
a good kind of. It's fun. It's I enjoyed it.
No, I think for Kerchak, it's like I'm just gonna call him Kerchak. It's like a deadbeat dad. It's like Tarzan. Hey, could you let me out of here? I'm happy to see you again.
Borrow $20.
Yeah, it's like, no, but it's like I
and a pack of smokes.
I know I was like an asshole to you all your life, but like now that I'm in this cage and you can let me out. Yeah. Come on, son.
It's like the one time in the movie I actually would have wanted to hear what the apes would like talking and just to hear what the hell he's thinking.
It's like, oh my god.
Like how funny would it be?
Son.
I would love if they had like subtitles like it's like Tarzan, what the hell are you doing here? And it's like, what are you doing here?
I was captured. What are you doing here?
I
got laid.
Yeah, no. I know the person who runs this. Oh, well, that's just awkward.
Anyway,
he lets
all the apes out.
He lets everybody out, and then he goes off with his dad, and they go into like
I kind of just get
what is it like London Town Square or?
I don't give a shit.
Well, no, it's like a specific.
Yeah, no. No. So Tarzan lets all the apes out. He lets Kerchak out. They kind of like run around a bit. They go to like. That's people are with the like triangle square. No, like I don't know.
It's some square.
The place with the lions. Yeah, that makes sense.
So they go there, but and all the people
they go into a park too.
No, but the funny thing is that all the people there are like freaking out, and it's so great. And I'm like, when you actually watch it, it's like, guys, why are you freaking out? It's just a man. Brits. No, it's just a man and an ape. But there's like no one there.
No, literally.
And he's just going around and yelling, and I'm like,
I think it's more just like they watching a guy do this with an ape, and like, what's happening?
No, but come on, that's
no, but like everyone.
Oh, please, in Vegas, that's a dime a dozen.
That's Tuesday.
That's Tuesday.
No, because everyone's just like, oh, what's happening? What's going on? It's so scary.
Oh, so uncivilized.
They're not even hurting people. They're just roaming around doing nothing.
I mean, it would have been funny at one point.
And then like cops getting
I know, but how funny of a point of like Kerchak's like, it's like, you remember there's this one scene where it's like, he goes like near the lady with like, has like the carriage and stuff, and she just runs off.
Yeah.
Like, I would be like, he just flips the carriage with a baby inside.
Not again! Not again!
Like, god damn it.
Not picking up another stray.
But, he,
No, yeah, so Tarzan and Kerchak just harmlessly kind of roam around to the abject horror of the British masses, and then the police get involved because of course they do. And
no, they have to. Well, it's a public disturbance.
I know it's a public disturbance.
But so they get like the police and stuff, and then
Kerchak and Tarzan make their way up a tree in the park.
They climb up, and so he joins him, and then at the same time, it's like you got Darnot, who's like, "Oh, Tarzan, don't do this, don't
throw away all our work."
And he's like,
"Don't you remember, mother, father, family?
That was the main principle of my teachings."
I screamed that
in French accent. And waffles, because Belgian.
Yeah, I can think of some other stuff they did, but yeah.
No, just the waffles. No, I don't think you ever see a waffle in this movie. But
whatever. So Kerchak and Tarzan are in a tree.
That's my nitpick of this movie. That's my main complaint. So they're in the tree, and then and then so basically the police
police, as they do, shoot Kerchak
right in the chest, and he just plops out of the tree, and then Tarzan gets really mad.
The fuck out.
No, he gets mad. He doesn't go like on a rampage or anything, but he gets really upset and
emotional. He like has
and then he has like a goodbye with like
no.
I'm not. All right, I got it. And then he has like his goodbye with Kerchak and stuff like that, and he puts it away. And then
he doesn't even do the pet thing this time, right? Because I think you understand.
No, he does it.
Okay. And then he was like, no, and he screams, "He was my father!"
Yeah, which is the first time like you really actually get to hear him say that in this movie.
Yeah.
And if if anyone who's ever seen, like, if you watch Superman 2 and you just seen that scene where he goes like, "Father," it's just that.
He was my father.
But this one hits harder.
This one hits harder because his dad just
like,
got shot.
Oh damn! It's like you just killed his dad, and that's all he wanted to do.
And a bunch of Brits are like, "That ape was your father." What's wrong with you?
Okay, none of them say that.
I know, but they all look like it.
But he does. No, a lot of them just look kind of sad now. And then
maybe you shouldn't have killed them for no reason.
So then that following evening, basically, they are not the Minister of Science man.
The Minister of Science who was at the expedition.
He's an asshole. This
guy
who
survived. Who fucking survived. I hate it.
This dude's an asshole. So he talks. He and Jane and Darren talk about what to do with Tarzan and do all that. And meanwhile, Tarzan's just going freaking nuts. He's freaking out. He's just like in
a car. He's driving. No, he's in a carriage. He's in a carriage.
He's just like we go as fast.
No, literally, he's driving a carriage around and he's literally screaming, "Mother, father, family."
Yeah, he doesn't because that's how he's processing.
Nice job, Darren.
Tarzan's always had a hard time processing this stuff, and he always goes nuts. And so then he finally comes to a conclusion, and he decides that he can no longer.
No. We got to go through this conversation. I want to bring up
by all means
the contents of this conversation.
Okay.
So I'm gonna call him the asshole minister who somehow survived the expedition. He's like, it's important for science that he remains, and also he's the Earl of Greystoke. He has to stay. And Darren's like, science? Whose science? Your science? He basically goes on a whole tirade. It's cool. He goes on a whole tirade about how like terrible science, their science is, and how
it's like your science killed his father.
Yeah, you just went around, you take stuff that isn't yours, and you parade it around for people to see. He's like, how very. He basically is like, how very English, and I'm like, hold the fuck up. No, shut up. He's like, oh, you parade things around, you take which isn't yours. How very English. I'm like, bitch, no, you are Belgian. Fuck you. No, the Belgians are fucking monsters.
All right.
No, I'm just saying, like, how very European. You are not safe from this. Yeah, I know you love Darren. I'm just saying, like, don't fucking paint it on Britain. They're monsters, but so's everyone else.
Anyway, so that happened. Is that all you really had to say about it?
Yes. Okay. Mostly just like
Darren. It was just that.
It's just that. It's not just Britain. It's all of Europe. You're all monsters.
So the conclusion of the argument is essentially, so Tarzan comes in and he's like, screw it.
I'm going home.
He's like, yeah, screw this. I can't take this crap anymore.
Wait,
I hate it.
More thing.
I hate it here. I will home. Oh, back to the jungle.
One more thing.
Fine.
So he's just like, half of me is the Earl of Greystoke. The other half is wild. Born to be wild.
No.
We're going to get sued.
No, you're going to get sued.
But he was born to be.
And so they ended up so Darren and Jane take Tarzan back to the wild, and he basically goes off and becomes one with his tribe again,
while Jane cries in the distance.
While Jane gets really sad that they get separated, and hopefully they'll one day meet again.
You've been banging in the jungle.
Yeah, no, she doesn't. She doesn't stay with it. I don't know why not.
This is like the one version where she doesn't stay with him.
Yeah. And then that was the Greystoke. So the main big thing that was a very big theme on this movie, and something I'm not always a huge fan of, was the whole idea that it's like that we're like for Tarzan,
man,
like,
or
that he can't be taken out of like nature. He has to he won't fit in society, so nature's the only place he can be true and stuff. Why
can't society just adapt?
No, which is annoying because I'm like, okay, but the one thing I never liked about, and I mentioned this before, but I don't like about a lot of Tarzan properties, are the ones that do this, is like, where like they don't find a balance where it's like he has to do one or the other. He has to be a man or an ape. You can't be both. 2 worlds,
1 family.
Yeah. But it's like, why can't you just do both? I'm
gonna start my singing career off this podcast.
Nah. And then eventually in the future, in other installations or installments.
So basically you're saying society is stupid and unnecessarily rigid.
Yeah.
This is Victorian England, Mickey.
I know. I'm literally talking about the most rigid of societies, but
but yeah, in general, it's like, maybe you could just like not be such assholes to him and not force the idea that he has to be something that he doesn't feel comfortable being.
But all in all,
commentary.
But all in all, I think
also colonialism is bad.
Okay. All in all, for the 3rd time, by the way, I have to say it 3 times to say it. I think this is a great.
You screamed Greystoke more than that. Shut up.
This is true. I think this is a great movie.
It's a good movie.
I think it's a really. I
had fun.
Yeah, I think even you enjoyed it.
Needs more Phil Collins.
Yeah, duh. But every movie needs more Phil Collins.
But I liked it.
I think it's good. I think it's one of the better adaptations of like
the actual full story
of like the Tarzan story. It's like I was like, yeah, they may have changed some things, but like they were like mostly like on the money,
and they're also like allowed
90%. They're like 90% on the money.
This also isn't like a kids' cartoon, so you're allowed to be more accurate with a lot of the stuff, like a lot of the gritty stuff.
I also think the performance,
like some rough sex.
No, I also think a lot of the performances, like I think Christopher Lambert did a great job as Tarzan. Yes. Like I think even in the jungle and then in society stuff
Christoph Waltz is good as they are not.
Yeah, he's great as well. And I believe this was
and Annie McDowell for
being there.
Physically, she was good.
She looked like Jane.
Audibly, I'm sorry.
Whoever the other person
happened to you.
It was Diane something, I think, maybe.
She was good as Kala in the Disney movie.
But actually, yeah, but that
we won't be covering the Disney movie, by the way.
Yeah, we've mentioned that
I know
every time.
But like
before everyone thinks we're talking about the Disney, we're not talking about the Disney.
We're talking
about anyone who's listened to this has probably already watched the Disney movie.
Yeah.
And we don't have to like what else do we have to say about it? It's a good movie. Go watch it.
Right, but we're gonna talk instead next time.
So next week on our final week of the Tarzan-ATHON, I know it's so crazy. We are talking about the other 1998 animated adaptation of Tarzan.
I mean, the Disney movie came out in '99.
This came out either 98 or 99. But the other late 90s anime adaptation.
Tarzan of the Apes.
I think it's Tarzan Lord of the Apes.
No, it's just of the Apes.
Of the Apes, yeah.
It's trash.
just look forward to it. It is we did this for you guys.
Look forward to our suffering, you monsters.
It was oh my god, you thought the
the 2013 movie was bad. This was better than the 2013 movie. I will straight up say that now. It was better than the 2013 movie.
What?
The 1998 one.
Seriously?
Yes, the 1998 one was better than the 2013
movie.
It
at least made more sense, yeah.
It made more sense.
But
it was surprisingly more accurate.
We're going to get way more into it next time because just, oh my god, it's just,
You're welcome.
Just what the hell? What the actual hell? We're done. I'm done. Well, we'll see you guys next time.
Chops.
We'll see you guys next time. Mutton chops. Hi, thanks for watching to the end of the video. Like, subscribe, or hit that notification bell. It really helps the show out. If you want to go see more of us, we have a podcast with way more episodes, so go check that out.
We also have a Twitter where we mostly just post new uploads when they come out and updates on the show. So if you want to keep up on the progress that we make, go follow us there.